Hello, my name is Leslie Waller, and today I want to speak to you about breast cancer. What is breast cancer? It is a cancer that affects millions. Okay, so what exactly is breast cancer? How does it affect us? What does it do? Well, first off, I want to say I'm sure everybody has been affected by somebody with breast cancer, whether it be a mom, an aunt, a sister, a grandmother. So it's something that everybody has been and had in their life. So we want to really make sure that we are focusing on how we can treat it, how we can stop it, how we can see it before it affects us. Because if we find it early, then we can stop it before it becomes a serious problem. There are many different ways that we can detect it. There are many different treatments that are out there available, and there are many different resources available. I want to go ahead and give you the resources so that way you will have them. Susan G. Komen is one of my favorite. She has a lot of support groups. She has a lot of articles. She has a lot of information. So if you have any questions about anything about breast cancer, she is a really good source for you to go. Another one is the National Breast Cancer Society. You can go to them. They can give you any information that you could possibly have, whether it be how to do the examination. They have pictures, they have step-by-step tutorials, so it will show you exactly how to do the examination, whether you're laying down, you're standing up, you're in the shower, you're in front of a mirror. If you go to an OBGYN, that tells you what to expect by your doctor. If you have the mammogram done, it tells you what to expect from the mammogram. So there's a lot of resources there as well. So if you have any questions about that, again, doing a self-exam or going to the doctor or having a mammogram done, it's something women have done for years. So if you have to have this done, or if you're questioning about it, there's probably an aunt or a mom or a sister that you can ask questions to. So don't be ashamed or afraid to ask those questions. Breast cancer is something that is very serious, and that we need to take it very seriously. Another source that you can go to is the National Cancer Society. That organization gives you more information on cancer itself, but you can narrow your research down to just breast cancer from there. So if you have any questions, you can ask them. So from there, I want to explain, or kind of give more of an explanation of what breast cancer is. Breast cancer is a cancer. It attacks the abnormal cells in the breast tissue. From there, it attacks the lymph nodes, and then it spreads out through the rest of the body if left untreated. So it would attack the lungs first, typically, from there, and then the heart and the rest of the body. So it can spread out throughout the body. So that's something you really want to make sure that you're checking and doing your annual checkups, so that way we can detect it as soon as possible. Because if you are doing your annual checks or your self-examinations, or you're going to the doctor regularly, if they find something, there's 5 different types of breast cancer. There's stages 0 through 4. So if they find a breast cancer, a lymph node, or an enlarged lump somewhere in the breast, then they can, if it's a stage 0 to say a stage 2, those stages are easily treatable. I say easily. It's not easy for the person going through it, okay? But it is much easier than treating a stage 3 or a stage 4. So that's something you want to really take into consideration. So again, stage 0, 1 is you go in, they remove a little small portion. Stage 2 to stage 3, you're doing the chemo, you're doing the radiation, you may be doing hormone therapy, you may be doing a mastectomy. Mastectomy is where they remove the breast tissue. Typically it's one breast, sometimes it's 2, it can be both. It's just how bad that cancer is. With a stage 4, typically it's spread throughout the body. So a lot of times those go ahead and do a full mastectomy, but it may already be too late. So that's something to keep in mind. A lot of times stage 4 is considered terminal. So we want to be able to catch it before it gets to that point. People with a family history of breast cancer, they want to make sure that they're checking themselves more often. The problem with that is health insurance companies have gotten away from having women check themselves as frequently. They see it as an unnecessary expense. So, but if you have a high family history of breast cancer, or just a family history of cancer in general, you can still go to your doctor, you can still have these checks, and you can still do your own checks. I would strongly advise that. Again, don't use the excuse that I'm too busy, I've got work, I've got soccer practice, I've got kids going here and there, I don't have time for it, or I'll do it next year, I missed this one, I'll get the next one, because you'll use that excuse again and again and again, and then by the time you realize it, it's been 5 years, and at that time you found a lump and it's stage 3. So you really want to make sure that you're checking yourself and that you're doing this, because if it becomes to the point that you wait too long, you could be setting yourself up to be in a situation that you can't get out of. So this is something that you really want to stretch. Another thing is, you might be a guy thinking, I don't need to know any of this. But I'm sure you have a wife, I'm sure you have a sister, a mother, a grandmother. So think of all of them. Make sure that they're getting checked, because that's something that you want them to do. Maybe it's your daughter. You don't want her to have to go through any of this. So really think that through. Another thing to do is that with all the treatments, chemo, radiation, they're really hard on the body. You lose your hair, you can barely walk, you might end up having neuropathy where you have pins and needles in your hands, your feet, everything. You can't stand for your clothes to be on. I mean, you're miserable, and you're like that for the entire time of your treatment. Sometimes they say that the treatment's worse than the cure. So keep that in mind, that yes, there's a treatment, it's not a good one. So it's not one that you want to do, it's not one you want to put any of your family through. So keep in mind that you want to catch it before it becomes a problem. And think about what your family would go through. Say it was your daughter, and she found out that she had stage 3 cancer, the breast cancer. She's going to have to go through the chemo, she's going to have to go through the radiation, she's going to have to go through all of this. She may even have to have the mastectomy, okay? She may say she only has to have one breast removed, and you may think that's great, right? But she looks at herself and all she sees is this scar right down the middle of her chest. She's got one breast left and one is gone. And she looks at herself and sees half a woman. So that's not something you want to feel, okay? So we need to keep everybody aware of the risk that's out there, and make sure that they can protect themselves, protect their family, and keep them all as safe as possible with all of this. That is all I have, and I thank you.